Hello, Sunshines. Welcome back to Rina Loves Reading, a place where we're talking about the books that we're reading, the books that we're adding to the TBR, and the books that we need to get off the TBR. Today, we're talking about my Valentine's Day haul / everything I've bought so far this month. So, let's get into it. So, I preface this with my boyfriend and my boyfriend's family never know what to get me, so they just get me book money, and then I go get the books I actually want. And we recently had February. Obviously, it's still February when this is getting recorded. But we recently had Valentine's Day. So, with that regard, a lot of romance books were on sale, which we will see the books that I bought digitally. And also a lot of other sales for Valentine's Day / when you give me money for books on Valentine's Day, I take advantage of them. So between the digital books and the physical books that you see here, we have about a 32 book haul, I think. Somewhere around there. The exact title number will be in the title. So let's knock off the digital books. And if you see me looking down, I'm pulling up some more synopsises in terms of what all is being read or what all I have bought, and / pulling up the pictures for my actual Kindle purchases. So the week of Valentine's Day, they did a lot of good sales in terms of romance books. So I picked up a few of those, but the first book I picked up, so I'm a huge Brandon Sanderson fan. That top shelf of my bookcase that you may or may not be able to see from this angle has all my Brandon Sanderson leather bounds minus Elantris, because I refuse. If I am going to spend the $100 on a Brandon Sanderson leather bound, I'm not getting one that is unsigned. I will not do that, so I have to wait till he gets more signed Elantrises on. Minus that, I have all of the ones that he's already produced so far. So book 2 in the Elantris series, or the novella that's book 2, was on sale in the Kindle monthly sale, so I picked up Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson. This is the novella that follows the original Elantris. It's somewhere on the TBR pile. I apologize, the corgi is freaking out because the UPS man has arrived right as I'm trying to record this when I have no other time to record it. So we're just gonna have to deal. I can't stop a dog from barking is where I'm at. The cat will probably join me soon and jump into the frame. My bad. They're my fur babies. Can't really do anything about them. Don't plan on getting rid of them. So, back to the digital books. So, the next one, okay. With romances, I'm all for the bright colors, the cartoon covers, I'm in love with them. You give me those are my weaknesses in romances, and I enjoy them. You throw food in there, and I'm undoubtedly going to buy the romance. So the next book that I bought was The Donut Trap. And the fact that Meg Cabot gave the little blurb on the top made me even more interested in it. And basically it's just romance in terms of that. The next book we have is Talk Bookish to Me. Another romance that I got on sale for like $1.99. I'm like, sure, why the heck not? Kindle. And yes, this is how I got in trouble in terms of having like over 2,000 books I need to read. This was the exact problem. I take advantage of the Kindle deals, and then I just keep digging myself further and farther into the ditch of I have a lot of books to read. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever get them read, but at least I have a freaking library on Kindle, is all I'm saying. The next book we got is, and Roman's going to be coming in soon. He will probably say hi. And he is walking around. And everyone say hi to Roman, the Bengal who has no personal boundaries. Hi, Roman. The next book I got was Duke, actually. So Cat, stop. And stop moving things. Cat. Say hi. Go. Get down. Thank you. Sorry about that. Again, it's a cat. I can't do anything about it. Again, back to like the third time that I am trying to talk about this. Another book that was on sale during that romance books for $1.99 sale was Duke Actually. Picked it up. Again, I have a type in terms of romance books. It is the illustrative cartoon character covers. The fact it has a dog on it also interested me. So yeah. This book, I want to read more Victoria Schwab this year. And when I was browsing around like my local Books A Million and just seeing this, I saw it on paperback on sale for $5. And I'm like, well, if it's on sale here, I wonder what it's on Kindle. And I saw that again, $1.99. I'm like, okay, we're going to pick it up. So we picked up this Savage Song. Again, because this is a haul, I don't really know much about each of these books. Realistically, I have not done that much research into it, but a lot of them are cover buys. A lot of them are other things that I've been wanting to read or meant to read, but that I'm more interested in. The next book is Never After. Again, Melissa Dela Cruz is another author that I've enjoyed a lot of the books that I've read from her. I read all of the Descendant books, and I use them a lot in terms of work, because I'm constantly working with kids that have to distinguish where their mistakes separate from their parents' mistake, and that concept of, am I evil because my parent made mistakes or not? So I'm constantly using those books, so I was interested generally anything into Melissa Dela Cruz, even her other young adult books I've read, so another pickup on that. This was a total cover buy, again, on sale. My weakness, I am cheap in terms of that. If I do not have a gift card, I try not to buy the books. So we've picked up Fat Chance, Charlie Vega as well. That was on sale. I think it was like $2.99. Again, young adult, and I can always do it. The next book I picked up, so I actually understand the reasoning that I picked this book up, was The Ones Who Walk Away from Ominous. So I picked this up specifically for my BTS Made Me Read It series, but this book was heavily discussed in their video for Spring Day, and you can see actually Ominous as like I think it is the laundromat that they go into, or the hotel that they go into, and it's basically the story of this utopia has been set up, but the utopia is run by the fact, I believe, that a child is suffering. And with Spring Day by BTS, if you didn't know, it hasn't been officially confirmed that it is about a ferry disaster in Korea, but if you watch the breakdown of like the music video from the Italian army, you can see that where it relates. But speaking out against the government when you're trying to become a pop star, generally not really okay. So, but you see those themes, and you see the themes of the death, and it came out specifically around that tower. So this ferry disaster, there were a bunch of kids on it, and about 300 people died. Of those 300, about 250 of them were kids in high school going on a field trip. And the complexity and the horrible nature of this ferry accident was that A, it was because of corrupt practices. B, because there is video proof of the children being told to basically stay where they are. They could make the situation worse. There's videos of the rescue efforts not actually rescuing people. We see the crew of the ship getting off before the passengers. And ultimately, it's Spring Day. As beautiful of a song it is. And at this point, it has lasted 5 years on a Korean music chart. That shows how powerful it is. Really got me into wanting to read the some of the reasoning behind it. Another book that I got, it's again on sale, yay, for $1.99, but I'm again off my BTS Run series and basically Kitchen, read by RM, I think. So I'm going to enjoy this. I'm trying this year to read more diverse voices in terms of things and different cultures, and I'm trying to get more into translated books to see from different world views in comparison to what I'm accustomed to with the American yada 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 bam bam, in terms of here's your theme, here's your story. They all follow the same process. It started with Almond, which is on my bookshelf right behind me. I don't know why I'm pointing because you can't actually see it, but I liked that book so much that I was interested to see what other books were talked about. The next book I got was Game On. It's like book 28 in the Stephanie Plum series. I started it. I'm enjoying it. It's like fluffy, cozy mystery where I don't have to think about it. And oftentimes that's just the kind of book I need. I need a fluffy mystery where I don't need to think about the struggles, because I do that enough at work. So I just want happy, and it makes the series entertains me. And because I'm not reading them quickly, they oftentimes go on sale, so I'm usually picking up the ones that I'm seeing go on sale as I move the way through it, even if it's completely out of order, because I'm like, oh, I could buy it now and get it for $2.99, or I could wait till I'm actually at that book and have to pay like $10 for it. Hard choice on that one, ain't it? Yeah, we pick up the sale books. The last Kindle book that I picked up is A Man Called Youve. I picked this up before, and I had it in a paperback form, but then I moved, and I'm just like, I am moving. I don't want to move all these books. You keep them or sell them, when my last relationship broke up. So I picked it up on digital because I saw it was on sale today. So those are the digital books we have. Let's get into the physical piles that we have. I don't know why I'm massaging the books. It's just one of those things. The first book I picked up, I actually have read this book digitally, A Song of Race and Ruin. It's basically the story of Karina, a princess who is trying to take over after her mother is assassinated, and how she doesn't want to do this, and basically her struggles with that as someone's trying to kill her, as she tries to somewhat ascend, somewhat not. I enjoyed it. I have the second book, which is why I picked up the hardcover from Amazon on this one. So I actually had a matching set in terms of items and books. I will probably read the second book in the coming months. I'm thinking probably next month I'll pick it up, but we will see. The next one is another book that I got for my BTS Made Me Read It series. This was a recommendation by Suga, and it's basically a coming of age story, and it looked interesting. It's been out for about 25 years, and the back cover says, to realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation. And I'm always a fan of coming of age stories, because I feel like no matter where you are in life and what development phase you are or what phase you're going into, you're always dealing with destiny. You're always dealing with those moments that, if you're lucky to realize 10 years from an event happening that event changed your life, you're lucky. If you're able to recognize it in the moment that this is a moment that is changing your life, is rare and hard. So I've always been a fan of coming of age stories. I'm looking to enjoy this because A, it's short. B, I've heard of this book before, but I've never actually picked it up. I grew up in poverty and didn't really go to the libraries, and I'm a millennial. It was before a lot of the digital stuff came out when I was a kid. So I didn't have access to a lot of things that today's generation has with just a library card. Like, I can now check out books digitally and not lose them and worry about if I lose them or spill something on them, I'm going to have to pay for it. So therefore, I'm not going to read the books because I'm anxious that I'm going to ruin them or something bad's going to happen, and then how am I going to pay for this book? We don't have to deal with that anymore because now I have a job. I can buy books. People give me books money just because they know I enjoy books, which is how we end up with stacks and stacks of books. And I think to some extent that's why I have the Kindle library that I do, because when you grow up like that, you don't have the option. So then when you have the option to actually be able to do it and own things, it is refreshing, and you almost jump head first into it, and then you're like, oh God, now I'm buried myself. But that is why part of my goal is to read 45% of my Kindle library of the books that I own. I'm at about 39% so far, so I'm hoping to have about 45% done by the end of the year. We will see how that if that happens, but we will see. I'm hoping. I'm praying. Please let me get 45%. I will feel better if I'm at that ratio again. The next book we have, I've already talked about this a little bit with my LitJoy unboxing, but so I'll just briefly talk about it. It's Dreams Lie Beneath. I got the LitJoy exclusive, which had the signed stuff, and it's basically magical dueling is how it was described in the LitJoy crate edition that I was talking about, and I love the blue sprayed edges. I know when I originally talked about this, I thought it was purple. I'm blind at points, but I'm looking forward to getting into this. The next book I have is The Fountains of Silence, and basically this one has a lot to deal with. My other interest is I love coming of age stories, I'm not gonna lie, but also stories where people are placed into impossible situations where the disasters they are facing and the struggles that they are facing, they are not the cause of this. So kind of, well, this and the next book have this theme from it. It's the how do you survive in a world that has been set up to oppress you, to make you feel bad about yourself, to survive under tyranny and under the dictatorship. And how do you thrive in that? How do you fight for what you believe is right in those situations? I remember I don't read a lot of nonfiction. I do it for work because I need like the interventions. I need the research behind why I'm doing the things that I am at work. And that's cool. That's fine. I can get behind that nonfiction, but the stories of people's lives I have never been good at, but there are a couple of books that I will return to in terms of nonfiction that I love. And it all has that similar theme of how do we thrive given horrible situations. I love The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch because posed with cancer, how do you survive and prepare your family to no longer have you around? What lessons do you leave when you have very little time? The other Wes Moore is basically the story of two kids named Wes Moore. One became a Rhodes Scholar, one is in prison for the rest of his life for murdering a cop. What made the difference in those lives? Life is Magic by John Dornbos, story of a kid that dealt with the horrible tragedy of his mother dying at the hands of his father. How do you continue to survive and move forward? How do you live when tragedy is at your door? How do you keep fighting when your world is completely shattered? So I think this one, The Fountain of Silence, will hit that, but from a fictional point of view. And I think the next book that I got, They Went Left, which is basically focusing on Holocaust errors, I believe. Yeah, Holocaust. And it breaks my heart. But how did people survive the Holocaust? And I think that leads into my other favorite nonfiction book that I enjoyed, which was The Zookeeper's Wife. It's these hard-hitting books that make you question a lot of the things that the further time gets away from these events, even if they're in a fictional sense, that we can teach lessons from. I apparently went with depressing books because the next book, and I know this is blowing up on TikTok, I think, it's You've Reached Sam, and basically this follows a 17-year-old girl as she recovers and moves forward with her life after her boyfriend dies by suicide. I know, I'm picking all of the fun books. I know. We've got all... I'm going to take off the stickers. I'm aware. I will take off the stickers. I don't like the stickers either, like most people. The next book I have is basically All of Us Villains, and it's basically the story of families competing for power. So those power dynamics in all of that. The cover looked good, and it was one of those... At Target, they had a sale a little while ago up by me that was buy two, get one free. And I was buying a couple of books, so I'm like, okay, I don't know what else to get, so I picked that one up on a whim, I'm not going to lie. The next book I got was Court, and by Tracy Wolff. This is a continuation of the Crave series. I am on book 2. I'm still about 30% done with book 2. I know I should have made progress on it, but I just haven't felt like reading this week. But I went ahead and picked up book 4 because with how book 2 ended and going into book 3, I was so interested, and I'm like, I want to continue on. I want to finish the next book. So we picked that one up basically the day it came out. Or no, I didn't. That was not the day it came out. I picked up way later than the day it came out. We've also picked up Once Upon a Broken Heart, and the main question of this book, according to the dust jacket, is how far would you go for happily ever after? So, cover by / I love the fairy tales. So we picked up that. The next book I got, because I had a hard time picking, I think in January, what book of the month book I wanted. And I have a policy that I could only buy one book for the month because I'm working my way back through the back catalog of book of the month where I pick a book from the previous year. I think I'm back into November and October of last year. So October, not last year, of 2020, where I get to pick books from. But this was seriously a strong contender for what I wanted in a book of the month recently, but I ended up siding with another book, so I ended up picking up Black Cake. And this is basically another one of those stories that follows after a tragedy what you do with it. So present day inheritance issues, and the tagline for us, we can't choose what we inherit, but can we choose who we become? And again, I like those aspects of exploring humanity, I guess, in a sense, and exploring why we do the things we do, either through fiction or nonfiction books. Again, I don't really do a lot of nonfiction, but that was my next purchase. We also picked up Gilded, and it's basically a Marissa Meyer's book. I am finishing up the Cinder series. I only have Winter and the other novella, not Ferris, but the other novella to read, and then I will be finished with that series. But this book basically is sort of a fairy tale retelling, where it's basically the farmer's daughter has been blessed with the ability to spin fairy tales or stories, and she's able to spin stories and make them everything untrue, and everyone believes they're untrue, but they might not be untrue. So this was a cover buy. I'm not gonna lie, it is a total cover buy. The next book we have is, so I've been seeing this book around a lot. I own it digitally as well, but I wanted a hardcover of it, and it's Firekeepers Daughter. So I'm interested. I also like that Reese Witherspoon liked it, because I've been liking a lot of her like young adult books picks that she's been designing in her youth book clubs. Okay, the next book I totally got for work. At work I'm getting involved with a book club. They read Loneliness recently, and I didn't figure that would be a good book for me to read, so I'm probably, if all works out, going to be jumping in when they're reading Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown. So I wanted to go ahead and pick that up since I saw it on sale at Target, and it basically is just like much like Brené Brown's, very social worky. It explores strength and feelings and all of that, I believe. Shame. I'm interested to dive more into Brené Brown. I have like 3 of her books that I need to read. Like, I've gotten snippets, and I often use like her TED Talk for work, but I need to get into the actual books more. I just have not had time, but we will make time. The next book we picked up, okay, I know, this is the big thing. I have not read Crescent City either, so I need to read Crescent City, and then, because I want to read probably this Crescent City next month as well, I went ahead and picked up House of Sky and Breath because I had an Amazon gift card, and I'm like, oh, I could read that more. I already own the first one. Let's go ahead and buy the second one. Sure, why the heck not? The next book we picked up for, again, my BTS series. We picked up I don't know how to pronounce this. I suck with pronunciation on a regular basis, but I'm thinking Damien. The Story of Youth. I think, if I remember right, I picked this one up because most of the BTS members had read this book, because the music video of Blood, Sweat, and Tears is based a lot off this book. And Blood, Sweat, and Tears, along with like On, Spring Day, Not Today, are some of my favorite books. So I actually wanted to delve into this to actually understand Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And if you have ever seen Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the music video from BTS, you can understand. If you have no idea what the heck is going on, add a language barrier into it and try to figure out what the heck is going on, you're not going to be able to figure the heck out. So I figured I'd read the text that they pulled a lot of inspiration from to understand it more. The next 3 books, I just went ahead and bought the series. I've only read the first book, but I enjoyed the first book. So I want to finish the other 2 sometime this year. So I picked up the Serpent and Dove series. We've got Serpent and Dove, we've got Blood and Honey, we've got Gods and Monsters. I think Gods and Monsters came out either late 2020 or early 2021, but I own them. I need to read them and be done with this series. Like, I enjoyed it, but I'm trying to get down my endless TBR, which I just keep adding to. The next book we picked up, again, another book that BTS recommended, Human Acts. The cover is gorgeous. Let's just talk about the cover is gorgeous. And it's basically the story in the midst of a violent student uprising in South Korea. A young boy named Dong-ho is shockingly killed. The story is the tragic episodes unfold in a sequence of interconnected chapters as the victims and the bereaved encounter suppression, denial, and echoing agony of the massacre. Again, BTS has got me reading a lot of books about philosophy that I did not really need to know nor wanted to read, but their book picks, especially what Namjoon or RM are reading, is a lot of philosophy books, and the more I look into them, the more I want to read them. So, Human X. Upcoming BTS made me read it. Next book is also a BTS makes me read it. And this is Please Look After Mother. So it's basically the story of a 8-year-old woman is lost by her family in a train station, and they're trying to find her. And through this process, more and more secrets come out about the family, apparently. So I am going to enjoy it. We also I'm not gonna lie, the rest of the books that I picked up were because BTS or Namjoon read them, and I want to read what he is reading. Not only because I am an ARMY, but he has exceptional taste in books, if they're anything like Almond. The next book is Stranger by Albert Camus, and this one is through the story of an ordinary man who unwittingly gets drawn into a senseless murder on a sunless. Basically, dude gets caught up in a murder and has to confront all of that and deal with it. Namjoon is going to make me question so much in my life. We picked up a classic, another one by BTS is making me read it, Metamorphos. It's a novella, and it should be a quick read. I'm hoping, from what I remember reading this book, basically a man is transformed into a bug, and you follow him as he is in a bug state. I'm not really sure on this one, but we will see. It's a short read, so I should be able to get it done. We got Kafka on the Sea. Another book that is all about like that coming of age thing, and I'm interested to see how coming of age stories are different in different countries, because this one basically follows a teenage boy who is on the run, an aging simpleton who is drawn to Kafka for reasons that he cannot fathom, and their paths converge. I'm interested. Very interested. I have like 3 books that by this author that BTS is reading, so I'm going to be diving into his catalog soon, because the themes of his books seem very interesting to me. And also the simplicity of these covers, and I don't know if it's that the different cultures, and I'm also interested to see like the different cultures like covers for these books, but in comparison to like the US covers, and I understand like these are adult fiction in comparison to like YA, but the difference in like these two books, like a YA US cover compared to an book that is written by a South Korean author, and look at the difference. Again, I picked up the black one, but very graphic, very simple in comparison. So it's interesting to see how the differences in covers are based off country, even though they're published in the US. Another one by that author is IQ 84. This is a chunky one. Like, I saw it in store, and I knew it was a chunky book, but I think it's hitting me again just how chunky this one is. We are basically a Storm-like book. Storm-like by Brandon Sanders. This is a 1,400 page book. I didn't realize it was that chunky. This is going to take me a while. Okay. But that is one of the other books I picked up. And then we picked up Kim Jong-ji-young, born in 1982. So this is a story about a woman millennial who was struggling to take on the different roles that she is supposed to, but also dealing with like the oppression of the misogynistic cultures and all of that, and oppression and mental health. And I think the back describes it very well on this cover. It's Kim Jong-yeon is a sister made to share a room while her brother gets his own. Kim Ji-young is a girl born to a mother whose in-laws wanted a boy. Kim Ji-young is a daughter whose father blames her when she is harassed late at night. Kim Ji-young is a model employee who gets overlooked for promotion. Kim Ji-young is a wife who gives up her career and independence for a life of domesticity. Kim Ji-young has started acting strangely. Kim Ji-young is depressed. Kim Ji-young is mad. Kim Ji-young is her own woman. Kim Ji-young is every woman. This might be on the TBR for next month because I am very interested on it. I also think this book is on sale on the Kindle for like $2.99. I already own it digitally, but I wanted a hardcover to be able to more likely read it. And the last book of this haul, after nearly 40 minutes, this is going to take forever to upload, is another one called Norwegian Woods. And it's basically moving through tragedy. So we meet Tora, a young, serious college student in Tokyo, is devoted to his girlfriend, but their mutual passion is marked by the tragic death of their best friend years ago. Grief concepts. And trauma bonding, I'm betting. But anyway, thank you for joining me on this extremely long episode of What the Heck Did I Buy? And oh my god, I have so many books to read now. I did not help myself getting books off my TBR. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you could subscribe, and comment down below, I would appreciate it. I post about 2 videos a week, one focusing on the books that I've read in the week and the one planning for the next week. We've got other videos dispersed if I buy a bunch of books, such as today, or planning for the next month's TBR. Anyway, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.